Hey, welcome into another episode of Halos in the Infield, but a special edition as we've got an interview going on this show. But first, this is Todd Fox and my co-host.
Fernando, how's everybody doing?
Are you asking us? We're doing well. You listeners.
I mean, it's about breaking the fourth wall. So
Yeah, YouTube, you could see everybody, but for the podcast version, Fernando, let's let them introduce themselves.
Perfect. Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Kai Bush, recent draft pick for the Angels. Went to St. Mary's College. Excited to be here.
All right. And who you got with you?
Yeah, my mom, Shelly.
Hi, I'm Shelly. I'm Kai's mom. We're coming from Ogden, Utah. That's where we raised Kai, and Kai is our second. We have two boys, Dallas and Kai, and it's just been a privilege and an amazing experience for us to go through this draft process. So we're excited to let you guys have us on the show today.
We're excited to hear about it.
My dad, Jason.
I'm Jason Bush. I'm Kai's dad, and I guess I'm a father of a 45th pick for the Los Angeles Angels now. I'm still in
That's
shock.
awesome.
So, yeah, it's surreal for sure.
Oh, we're just...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, absolutely. I mean, I can only imagine what it's like. And first of all, thank you guys for your time. And second of all, I mean, some people might be kind of surprised, like, why are his parents here? But, what a lot of people don't want to do is cover the raw emotions that come from a family. I mean, you hear all the time from the draftee, and obviously, that's at the end of the day who it's about. But a lot of people don't know the journey that it takes to get to that point. So, we're excited for you guys to all come on board here and talk about A, the accomplishment, and B, the journey that it took to get there. Because I'm sure Kai would be the first person to admit that it wasn't always just him. I'm sure he has a ton of people who are part of his support system. Maybe you want to go ahead and start off a little bit with that, Kai, and maybe talk about how important your parents have been, and really anyone else.
I mean, they've been the best. They've had to sacrifice a lot. It's a journey. It requires a family, a strong family. So they've had to sacrifice a lot. I mean, all the tournaments and the games, catching me, all that kind of stuff, the hours and hours that have gone into the field. And I mean, everything that goes on to being where I'm at today, I wouldn't be here without them. So, going through the draft and the process with these guys, I couldn't imagine going through it with anyone else. So I'm very thankful for them. It's a long journey, and they did a lot for me. So I'm very thankful for them.
What about the journey as far as you're talking about for your parents? I want to know what their feelings were, because I know a lot of parents, when they see their kids in Little League or travel ball, whatever, as they get older, you always think of your kid as being a major leaguer. But obviously, you had more ability, more talent. And I mean, as you're settling in, realizing, hey, his dreams might come true. What was your feelings as you're seeing him lead up to getting to the spot where he's at right now?
Well, it's really interesting because as I look back, I think about our journey, and I remember when he was little, and this started, every kid dreams of being, a Major League Baseball player. But honestly, I can say that we began with the end in mind. We began with, this was where we were going to be. And even a couple of years ago, Kai and I would send pictures back and forth to each other, and I would say, this is the dress I'm going to wear on draft day. And he would say, should I get this suit? And we began with, always dreaming that this is where it was going to be. And yeah, there was a long process, and there's so much that goes into it. And as you know, he went to multiple schools, and there was a lot into this, but we really did see this, and we know that now this is just the starting point to his career, but we've been forward thinking for many, many years on this.
I guess it all started for me. It was as simple as we were in our backyard, and I was playing catch with his older brother, and he was probably 3 or 4.
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding. He was little, and he was always a bigger kid. I mean, obviously, but he was always, big for his age. And he picked up one of the baseballs dropped. He picked it up with his left hand, and he rifled it. He gunned it at me, and he threw a strike. And I'm like, holy crap!
Wow.
And I'm like, he just threw that with his left hand. So then I'm kind of like, oh, let me throw it back to him. But he did the same thing, and he's always thrown hard his whole life. It was just a matter of, getting him the right mechanics and things like that all go into it. But yeah, it's been kind of a special journey because he's always succeeded. I mean, not to sound boastful, but he's always succeeded in baseball. So
Oh, it's okay. You're supposed to be building him up. You're supposed to be. Yeah, he's always been there.
Absolutely.
He's also failed too, if you look at his ERA his freshman year. So
we don't talk about it.
That was part of the journey, but we don't talk about it.
actually, I'm telling
Focus on the now.
we had somebody come from the Angels today and visit with us and bring us some gifts, and we were telling him about his. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Telling him
Hey,
about,
that's awesome.
yeah, we were telling him about his freshman year up at Washington State, and we were saying that we loved the scoreboard because it didn't go into double digits on the ERA. So
Okay.
it always looked like he had a 2.8 ERA. So we were like, yeah, nobody has to know that there's not double digits up there.
Yeah, that's my son right there.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Washington State, real quick, I did see a video real quick. It was like a 30-second clip of when they were interviewing him, and they were putting the food on his hat. I was like, okay, man, this is pretty crazy. I like that. He's got a sense of humor. He's not serious. Which is cool.
That was actually at Utah.
Yeah, that was at the Beach Stadium.
Oh, Beach Stadium. Okay,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
it was labeled Washington State. So okay, but go ahead.
Were you a Bees fan growing
It was
up?
with Washington State.
They were playing
at
Utah.
Utah.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Did you guys go to a lot of Bees games when Kai was growing up, and your brother?
Yeah, so we did not as much because we have the Ogden Raptors here in our
Okay.
town. So we spent more time, going to the Ogden Raptors. But yeah, we definitely, I've hit a couple already this year. So yeah, definitely part of growing up. But also when you're watching this kid play baseball, who has time to watch any other baseball games?
Good point.
That's
Good point.
that's fair. That's fair. My fiance is going crazy. You know what I mean? With like our kid who's like already just in t-ball. You know what I mean? Like they play 2 or 3 games a week, and I'm like, what? This is t-ball. Well, what is this?
Yeah.
Travel ball?
Yeah. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're starting to like it. All right. So back on topic. So Kai, you went to Fremont High School. That's in northern Utah, correct?
Yeah.
Did you get to play any other sports in high school?
Yeah, I played basketball all through high school.
Hmm.
I played football up until my sophomore year. Wasn't really a fan of football, to be honest with you. Wasn't the best at it, I'd say, but basketball I really enjoyed and got to play that all through. My parents were big on being multi-sport athlete and how beneficial it is in the long run, so I made sure to play basketball throughout.
Yeah, I had a pretty decent run of football, but it just wasn't in my heart, so I didn't take any scholarships. So I guess I can't blame you there. I never fell in love with the sport. So was baseball was always your thing though growing up? In comparison to basketball.
It helped that I was better at baseball. I really enjoyed basketball, but I knew there was not really a future in it. It was more just kind of enjoy it and have fun with it. But baseball was always the plan and the goal.
Yeah, some of our best memories did come from basketball, though. I mean, in high school, he had a team that was not supposed to do anything, and they ended up taking the region championship, going on to state.
Wow.
He was a big. I mean, he was a 2-year starter there. I mean, he did really good. He was good at basketball. And we spent a lot of time in the basketball gym too. But we always felt it was nice to give that break, give his arm a rest. I think it's super important if there's kids out there that are listening to this. Don't just focus on one sport. Give your arm a rest. Give your legs a rest. Whatever you got to do to disconnect from baseball for a few months or 5 months or whatever. And get your body rested and healthy, and especially your arm if you're a pitcher.
That's good advice. What position?
Yeah, I mean nowadays. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what position do you play in basketball, Kai?
I was a power forward and center.
Okay.
We had a big guy. He was like 6'8", so when he wasn't in, I would be center, but when he was in, I'd be power forward. So I was pretty big. Mostly just a rebound guy. I would average probably like 10 points, but my role was to kind of just get rebounds and get the ball to the guys that score. But
okay, that's cool. So you played the traditional power forward. You weren't shooting threes.
No, my coach did not let me shoot threes. I bagged with shooting in practice, and he just yelled at me. And I'm pretty good mid range, but yeah, threes were not allowed.
Okay, good.
A lot of double doubles.
What's that?
Did you get a lot of double doubles?
I did, yeah. I mean, they were not crazy, like 30 points, 15 rebounds. It was usually like 10 and 10. I knew my role, so I stuck with it.
That's solid.
Find out that he's better at basketball than he ever led on to be because he had a speeding ticket and he didn't want to pay for it. It was pretty expensive. And so his dad said, yeah, you score this many points tonight and get this many rebounds.
It was 20 and 15.
20 and 15, and I would pay that ticket.
Wow.
And I had like, I think it was 24 points and like 17 rebounds or something like that.
Were you keeping track in your head or like asking like, hey, how many points am I up to?
Absolutely. I was like, I'm like, give me the ball. I got to keep going.
Oh, money
Hey.
motivates this kid.
Hey, well, when you got that bucket or to go over the limit that you needed to do, did you look to your parents in the stands and go, cha-ching?
He did. He probably winked at me in the huddle.
That's funny. Hey, word.
In the game.
Exactly. That's cool.
All right. So Washington State, Central Arizona, and St. Mary's. 3 colleges in 3 years. So let's start off with Washington State. Why Washington State?
Sorry.
I mean, she has a story about how I guess I have my own side to it.
Okay.
No, they saw me out in a tournament and invited me out to a visit. And I got up there, and I mean, the campus is, I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but Pullman's a really cool town, really cool campus, college town vibe. So I kind of fell in love with all that kind of stuff, just the college atmosphere, and then the coaching staff, Marty Lees, Dan Spencer, all those guys. They were really good to me through the process, the recruiting process, and I was a big fan of them. And they were, I mean, in the previous years, they weren't very successful, and we had a big sale to kind of change the program around. We had a pretty good recruiting class, so I kind of saw that vision they had and kind of wanted to run with it. And then when I got there, I mean, it didn't really work out. So, I mean, she has her side of why she.
Okay, so the whole reason, though, that we even took a trip up to Washington State, he came home from a tournament in the Pacific Northwest, and he said, this guy told me that he wanted me to come to a recruiting trip to Washington State. And I said, oh, Washington State, where Mike Leach coaches? I'm like, absolutely, we will go take a trip. And so the coach called me, and he said, you guys are really going to come up here. And Jason was doing a triathlon halfway between here and Washington State. And so I said, hey, we'll make sure that it's, in conjunction with that, and we'll just come through. And I said, I'm a huge Mike Leach fan. Otherwise, I mean, Washington State's baseball program was not good.
Yeah.
So we got up there, and they were giving us a tour around the campus, and Dan Spencer's phone rang, and he goes, oh, I think the phone's for you. And he handed me the phone, and I could see that it said Mike Leach. And I'm like, oh, Mike Leach is calling me? So I answered the phone, and of course it was Mike Leach, and he goes, hey, what's it going to take to get your son to, commit to Washington State? And he had a really cool conversation with me. We talked, he's from, here in Utah, he's a BYU grad. So we had a conversation, and I was sold. I mean, there was so much more to it, but the whole Mike Leach spin on the situation. And then he left Washington State, and we did too. So it's all good now. I'm a Mississippi State fan for football.
Hey, old Mitt, right? The running Rebels. But yeah, he sold the mom, gets Kai. That's how it works.
There you go.
The coaching staff really was phenomenal.
They laid out the red carpet.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's good. I mean, as long as it's good to hear that all sides were happy. Jason, were you happy too about the whole process?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, when we got there, we fell in love with the campus. Definitely a college town.
Mm-hmm.
And when we checked out the facilities and stuff, I mean, Pac-12 facilities anyway
should be great.
Themselves are top notch, and so and we've been on quite a few recruiting trips up to that point too, and so yeah, I mean, it was really impressive. And they said they were going to build this program around Kai, and they built that new facility, and they actually did it. I mean, there's a lot of places we visited. They're like, yeah, we're building a new facility. It still hasn't happened, but
yeah.
But yeah,
just wait till you get to Tempe.
What's that?
Oh, I said just wait till you get to Tempe. They've been saying that for a couple of years. I got friends who work in the organization. Need some help. Okay. So describe. This is for your parents. So describe watching Kai play in Central Arizona during a global pandemic. Or what are some things that were going through your mind during that time period?
Well, that was actually really frustrating because we didn't get to watch him play. The games weren't streamed. We go from Pac-12 where we can get on an app and watch every game to having him in Central Arizona, and we're following it through Twitter. So I went down to watch him play one time, and that was the only time I was even able to see him. Other than that, so it did take a lot of stress off us because we didn't get to see it,
Yeah.
But we also weren't, a part of what was happening.
And
He
then
would just
COVID
call.
hit, and then it was a really short season, and really didn't get to see much.
Oh, it's too bad.
And Kai, can you just?
I was just saying, Kai always calls after a game if he does really well. So if the phone didn't ring, we just knew it wasn't a good game.
Okay, fair enough. And it's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell. It just it's over. Fair enough. That's a good strategy. Was there a little extra noise around the school around the time of the pandemic, like right at the height of it? I mean, was it kind of hard to avoid the noise off the field, Kai?
At Central?
Yeah, during, obviously that whole time period where, I mean, none of us really knew what was going on, but we were fighting for toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was so Central, we start early because, Juco starts in January. So we actually still got in like 30 games. And then Juco's a little more lenient. So we saw all these teams get canceled and we kept playing for like another day or two. We're like, oh, sweet. Like Juco doesn't really care about COVID. So like we thought we were going to keep playing. And then we just kept seeing more and more more conferences cancel. And then we were kind of on a hot streak. Like we kind of thought we were going to like get the season going. And then we got the call and they're like, season's canceled. And it was tough just because, Juco was one of my favorite experiences, and it sucked that I couldn't play a whole season with those guys just because you don't get to be on a team. The same guys one time, so it sucked just because I really enjoyed it and the guys were awesome, but overall, it was still a great experience. I just wish it could have been longer. I think like most guys would have said during COVID.
Yeah, I'm sure. That was it's such a weird, just to think about where we were like a year ago. So, I can only imagine, how sports must have been and, like what your parents were thinking throughout that whole thing. So, but you were 5-1 across 7 starts with a 2.43 ERA. So clearly it didn't affect you that much. You were, you were on it. You had a pretty good year. Were you feeling really good this year compared to your freshman year?
Yeah. I think any year would have been better than my freshman year, but Central, Central was kind of the time where I started to turn around and make that transition into the pitcher I am today. And right when season got canceled, I started to make strides in my mechanics, which really sucked just because I was on like the right path. Like my velo was kind of bumping up. Everything started to feel really good. Then we got canceled. So I kind of used quarantine and that summer to not get off track of what I was doing at Central and spent that time just kind of building on what I was already doing at Central and then kind of carried that into St. Mary's. And Coach Nasher and Greg Moore were awesome. They just kind of ran with my plan, my idea. They brought me new ideas and it worked out well for me.
Yeah, seems like it. All right, so since you brought up the topic of St. Mary's, let's go to that, which is basically where we are right now. So St. Mary's, you had a 2.99 ERA, 78 in the third innings, 112 strikeouts, and you were also a first-team All-WCC, and you led the conference in strikeouts. What do those accolades mean to you?
They mean a lot just because, compared to how far I've come in the last 2 years, it's good to have those results just because, you work so hard and all this work goes into it. And, you kind of got to not worry about the results, not be a stat rat, but at the same time, it feels good to have that work paid off and kind of see results from like the work you're putting in is helping. So it felt really good, especially just because my freshman year and how far I've come since like 2-3 years ago. It's pretty exciting to see. And the numbers, just kind of were, I guess, another addition to that and just, made the year feel pretty good, I guess.
At St. Mary's, was there fans in the stands? Were your parents able to go? No?
So at the beginning, no.
See, knows.
They slowly started to get a little more lenient where they allowed students, and they would allow more scouts, and then they finally allow parents. So they're building a stadium right now. So they took our bleachers out in January, and all we had was like probably 50 total folding chairs. Yeah. So we probably had 20 fans, then probably 15 scouts. So
it was bad.
It was he came to one game and then she came to another game. I happened to pitch good at both those games. So it
was kind of fun.
That's good.
I went to the first one, and that was the day that he got his record. He had 13 strikeouts. And so it was a good game. I think the week before was Mother's Day, and he told me that he wasn't going to buy me a present for Mother's Day. That's the way it rolls. He's he's tight with his money. I said, just pitch well. And he didn't have his best game. So the next week he said, oh, I meant to do that on Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day.
It carries over.
Later, his dad went out to a game and Kai's Dylan, and he's like at 11 strikeouts. And I'm like, oh, if he throws more strikeouts for his dad than he did for me, the kid's in trouble. So he got to 12, he got to 13, and then they brought him back out for the 7th inning. And I'm like, he's going to throw. Oh, he's in trouble. And he walked the kid.
You're all, wait, it's not Father's Day. What is he doing?
Yeah.
I was all about it, man. I was like, he likes dad more.
But hey,
That's funny.
real quick too, did you guys, I mean, how did you guys feel? Like, I know there's limited fans there or whatnot, but was it starting to get a little more real seeing the radar guns maybe in the stands or guys maybe
It was
chat
crazy
guys up?
because you could even see it on TV, and we had talked after of how many scouts were there.
Mm-hmm.
And, it would average anywhere from 25 to 30 scouts per game.
Wow. Okay.
And so you knew it was getting really real. And, he had been through that before in high school. Not 25 to 30 scouts, but more like, a dozen or, yeah.
Oh, don't worry, we're gonna get there.
Scouts.
But that's a testament to Kai, though. I mean, seeing all those scouts and not letting it affect you, and still putting 13 strikeouts on the board. I mean, that's really good. That's
that was crazy. I mean, this year it was incredible for the fact that he flipped a switch, and I don't know when it happened. I don't know if it was in the fall or right when he got to St. Mary's. All of a sudden, he was just like, you know what? I don't want any distractions. I don't want anything in my way. This is my goal, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in the work. And it seemed like he was super focused, and he worked his butt off. He really did. I mean, he was, he liked snap and text and stuff. He's snapping at his workouts. He's snapping at his food. He got his nutrition locked in. And it just seemed like as the season progressed, he started to grow and grow and grow and then get hot and hot. And then by the time, the last, 6-7 weeks, he was zoned in. He was locked in. It seemed like mechanics, everything just kind of came to fruition, and it was good, really good timing, actually.
wow. That's
Plus, he knew I had a draft dress, and he didn't want to be in trouble for not letting me wear it.
you're all.
she's like,
I'm wearing
I
the
can't
dress.
hold
You're
off
getting
on it.
drafted.
Yeah, right. All right. So I guess this is a question for all of you guys. I would imagine your parents would have more of a reaction to this question. Did any of you guys keep your eyes on mock drafts as the times started to go on? I would imagine mom did. No?
It was my dad.
Okay.
The first minute they tweet something, he sent to me, dude, you see this? You see this? Doing these so fast. Like,
And we were like, are you on like speed dial with the mock draft with Jim
Guys.
Krause and Jonathan Mayo? Like,
Guys.
do they know you?
I've got like 10 subscriptions I got to cancel
Oh,
tomorrow. I'm serious, because in order to see all these mock drafts, you have to, pay for it. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm probably
Could have just tuned into our draft special.
Oh,
If you would have known, I mean, we covered the
I
draft.
know.
and
I didn't know about
we
you
had
guys.
experts.
Or else it
We
would've
had
been great.
experts on.
Yeah, so I'd watch those things every day. And I work from home, and so I'm on a computer all day, and so
Yeah.
that's kind of my, get my mind off of work type time, and so I'd be checking that while I'm on the phone or whatever, and as soon as something would pop up, I'd be sending to these guys.
like he was the first person to like it.
And then we're like, take a breath before you retweet it. Take a breath before you like it. I was like, oh, I got so excited.
Yeah, right. We were able to find out immediately. Like, as soon as you got drafted, like your dad's like tweet came up like immediately. It was like seconds. I was like, oh look, we found his dad.
Was it really?
He's
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah, it was so fast.
He's
You know,
excited.
I actually beat the
My
Angels.
draft dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There you
I'm too excited. It was an exciting time.
Well,
No, I would imagine, and that's why we wanted you guys on too. Like I told you, I mean, nobody wants to ever cover the parents. It's like, why? Like this is a family victory. This is
Yeah.
not just one person.
mhm.
Absolutely.
And
Okay.
you could tell by how proud you guys are. I mean, come on. I mean, this is
I
awesome.
know. We
Yeah,
are super proud.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I could tell the smiles are great.
Absolutely.
All right. So a couple more questions for you guys. So 3 years ago, you were drafted by the Kansas City Royals. You decided to go to Washington State. Why was that not the time?
Well, I feel like just overall, I wasn't ready. I mean, I couldn't imagine going right into the system out of high school. I think I kind of had a bet on myself and knew that where I got drafted, I knew that I could kind of progressed and become into who I am today. So I had to bet on myself and trust the plan, trust the process, and just knew that mentally, physically, I just wasn't ready. I mean, it's just kind of a feeling you have. It's kind of hard to explain, but I just knew that wasn't the time, and I had a lot to prove and kind of mature overall, just as a pitcher and as a person.
And he was really mature with that process, because as it's starting to come down, and we went out to the pre-draft workout, and you have scouts in your ear, and you have scouts calling you, and you have a number, and you've set the number, but then all of a sudden, like, they start lowering it, and you're still thinking, well, 300,000 still sounds like a good amount of money. And so as parents, we're catching into the hype, and the phone calls are coming to us, and he stayed solid. He was like, this is my number. I'm worth more than that. I'm going to go to school, and I'm going to prove that I can come back and get more than that. And he was the one that was like the voice of reason the whole time. We were getting caught up in maybe the emotion and the ego, and paper articles were being written about him, and he stayed completely true to himself and said, I promise you guys, if I do this, like he said, he took a bet on himself.
He said, he goes, I'm a day one guy. Now we know the draft was different this year. But, typically rounds 1 and 2 are
same day. So you would have been a day one guy. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so
he is a day one guy.
He just said, I'm a day one guy, and I'm going to prove it. So.
Well, we're glad you made that decision, Kai, because we like you better in red than blue. That's just for red looks way better on you.
I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? That's the best take I've ever heard. And that's like me being real. I mean, we've interviewed people, but I've never heard anybody say that phrase. I took a bet on myself. Normally, it's all about the politics. It's about the money. And I mean, nobody's naive here. Life in the minors is hard. So I understand, where the thought process of, I need more money comes from. But you know what? I've never heard that comment. And it's something that you think most people would say, like, I took a bet on myself. But you know what? I've never heard that. So, kudos to you. That's really good. And it's encouraging to hear your parents say that, hey, that's really what he said.
And it is too. I think a lot of fans are going to get out of this the fact that your ambition is there, your drive is there, and you're not here just to get paid. And obviously, you're going to work your way through like you did 3 colleges, and you put in the time. You have your parents' support. You've got a place where you want to be, and I think that's what Angel fans and baseball fans in general appreciate. Because some people are born with a golden spoon in their mouth, or a golden arm, or power, or whatever, to just play the game but not care. And I think you don't fall into that category, and that's what is very genuine on your part and your family, the way you've been raised. And it's a good thing to see, because when you draft a player, whether it's the Royals, the Angels, whoever, that's what they look at too: your personality, how you're raised, what kind of drive you have, and it looks like you have all that going for you, and it's really good to see.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. All right. So finally, I guess this is a question for all of you guys. So you guys actually have 2 pretty athletically gifted sons, from everything I could tell, because his brother is also a bodybuilder, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and from Jason's photos on Instagram, it seems like, he's also very successful in what he does. So if you guys can go back in time and either speak to yourself or your brother, or to your parents, rephrase the question, the same way, I guess. What would you guys tell your children to prepare them for their success today in each person's respective field?
Okay, so re-say that.
So I guess for Kai, what would you do to go back in time to tell yourself and your brother to prepare you guys for this moment? And then as far as parents, if you guys could go back in time to prepare both of your sons for the success they would have today, what would you guys tell them to maybe, put them in a better position back then?
I mean, I guess I would kind of tell myself, put in the work earlier. I guess freshman year kind of kicked me in the butt, but I guess it put me into, who I am today, the gear I got into. But I guess early on I would have said, kind of start earlier, I guess. I mean, I guess my tough freshman year worked better for me, but it still sucked. It was a tough year. And going through that, it was hard. I mean, freshman year was really tough, and I think I kind of would have told myself to prepare for any adversity that you'll face, and not really let it affect you. Because there was a time where pitching, I was like, "Is this like what I want to do? This is tough. Like, I don't think I can keep going out and allowing 15 runs or whatever." So, I think just kind of preparing myself for any adversity, any tough times that came my way, and I think over time I adapted and was able to overcome those things. But I think at an early age, it was tough. And I think at a younger age, I would have told myself to be ready and prepare yourself for those tough times. Because in high school, I mean, I was good in high school, I guess. So I was the top dog, and I got the WSU Young Freshman Pac-12, and I got my butt kicked. So
Yeah,
I guess it helped in the long run. But I guess I would have prepared myself a little better if I could have told myself to.
Yeah, if I could start earlier with these kids, I would tell them that. I would tell them, prepare to fail. Baseball is a game of failure.
yeah,
You're going to fail in life.
Absolutely.
Things happen, but be prepared for it, and you're going to get through it. You're going to become a better man because of it. And it's going to teach you some things. It's going to teach you to work hard, to overcome adversities, overcome obstacles that have come your way. He was taught, and this is why I liked him going to Juco, because they had this theme of the Juco bandits. That's what they called themselves. And it was kind of this tough mentality, like, don't spit on me, don't treat me different, and they kind of play with the chip on their shoulder. And he got that there, which I think mentally made him tougher.
Mm-hmm.
And prepared him for St. Mary's, and now it's going to prepare him for the Angels. He's willing to put in the work hard, and good things will come.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and for me, raising two boys, both of our boys have definitely faced their own adversity and challenges in life. And one of the things that as a mom, I've always been impressed with both of my boys is their resiliency to overcome challenges and overcome hard things. I will never forget calling him when he was at WSU, and he was crying, and he said, I've got to dig down deep, and I've got to decide if this is really going to be work for me, because we would watch those games and I would be like, pull him, like, this is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And but to watch him bounce back, and my older son has done the same. They weren't blessed and born with silver spoons in their mouths. We've had some challenges, and we've faced adversity as a family. And the one thing that we've done as a family is we've rallied around each other, and we've supported one another. And baseball has been the one constant in our family. And it's sacred to us. It's like a religion to us. It's the one thing that we all have realized, that we work all together as a family to be at this point in life.
Perfect. This was absolutely awesome, guys. I mean, we were a fan of everything we could see about Ky Bush, the baseball player, but now, I mean, I think we're a fan of Ky Bush, the man, and Ky Bush, the family.
Yes.
So thank you guys very much. I mean, this is awesome. Like, a lot of people don't have the opportunity to truly meet people until situations like this. And this is why I wanted to have all of you guys on. So thank you guys for the time.
Thank
And
you.
we look forward to hopefully seeing you guys in Tempe.
Yeah, I have one other question though. Are you guys going to be invited out to the stadium? Because I know Artie sometimes invites new draftees out to the stadium to catch a game or get interviewed with Gooby and the guys in the booth. Have they told you anything about that?
No, but have them call us.
I will. I'll put in a word actually, because we do know Gooby. So
Me, Mike called me. You guys have to call me.
okay.
Ties with the admin. So
Yeah, we'd
we'll
like
make some calls.
we'd like Ky to get get comfortable with the stadium, get a nice little walk through the stadium, and get to know the guys who he's going to be playing with hopefully soon. So that's
the quicker we can get you to the minors, the better.
Yes,
So-
exactly.
That's what we keep hearing, man.
Yeah.
Some of those comments on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and just they're just like, "Oh, I'm so glad the Angels drafted 20 pitchers."
Yeah,
It's
the first day we were like, wow, 10 for 10, all right, and then it's like 20 for 20. Oh wow, okay.
been a long time. Keep going.
Yeah. So,
Statement, right?
yeah, it is. So from what I hear, Perry's an aggressive guy, and he obviously went out there and saw what he liked in your son, and we're glad he did that. We're glad you're a part of the organization, and continued success forward for all three of you guys, including your brother too. Dallas is his name. All four.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you guys. I
You're
appreciate